Hi, here's my introduction for the readings for Tuesday. On Tuesday, we'll be starting a new section looking at equity and justice as it relates to environmental sustainability. We'll be asking questions like, what's the obligation or what obligation do humans have regarding the natural environment or to other living creatures? Or what obligation do we have to humans that might live 5 and 6 and 7 generations into the future? Another way to ask these questions is ask what has moral standing, or to what do we have a moral obligation? Do we have a moral obligation to anything other than ourselves, our family, our community, uh, people of North America, or does it reach beyond that? And if so, how far does it reach? What are the boundaries? The reading for today is challenging. It's from an encyclopedia, the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and it deals with environmental ethics. I gave you the whole reading, but I really want you to pay particular attention to three components or three sections. The first is the introduction. Read the introduction and feel comfortable with that. The second is section 3. Section 3 on environmental ethics. And I want you to read about the 4 different kinds of philosophical traditions that are associated with environmental ethics and be ready to describe their underpinnings. These will be familiar to you, and or some of them will be familiar to some of you. And I want you to read them and get some sense of their underpinnings and the big ideas. What are the big ideas for each of these 4 different kinds of philosophical traditions? And then the third thing I want you to look at is section 4, dealing with traditional ethical theories that you're certainly familiar with. So we'll be interested in looking at some of these emerging philosophical traditions with respect to the environment and comparing and contrasting them with the more traditional ethical theories. You can also read 2 optional readings. One comes from the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and it's also on environmental ethics. And it has a really good section on deep ecology and the traditions or components of deep ecology. And you can look at those and read a little bit about social ecology, deep ecology, ecofeminism, and that's a nice counterpoint to the Stanford Encyclopedia. And then the other reading is kind of a counterpoint reading, a reading that asks questions about what might be best for the world and what might be best for humans, and it takes a different perspective. As you read these, the reading, at least the first reading from the Stanford Encyclopedia, I've got 3 questions that I'd like you to keep in mind. Think about to what extent does the earth exist for the benefit of humanity? To what extent does the earth exist for the benefit of humanity? To what extent do humans have more rights than and greater superiority over other animals? To what extent does that exist? And then, what should we say to future generations about environmental issues that we're experiencing today? What if you could have a chance to talk to your neighbor's great great grandchildren about the decisions that we're making today in society? What would you say to them? So think about those 3 questions as you're reading these sections in the Stanford Encyclopedia, and we'll talk about those on Tuesday. Let me say again, this is kind of a challenging set of readings, and I look forward to discussing them with you. See you then. Bye.